So hello. So today I want to do a video on something that I've learned in a course that I'm taking. That is, I'm taking a course in history of Canada, and I came across a particular topic that has made me be very not impressed, but very concerned, especially because maybe it relates to my native country, Kenya. And before I share, I want to say that I'm an anthropologist by training, and I know the values of culture, and when they come up, I like talking about them. So today I want to discuss about the Aboriginal people of Canada and the things that they went through, not in the recent past, but since the time when people started settling in Canada. And if I'm to give just a synopsis of the whole thing for those people who are not aware, the Aboriginal people are the original occupants of Canada. And technically they are divided into three: the First Nations, the Inuit, and the Métis. And technically they were called the Indians. So it happened that when the Englishman settled here, the British, they sort of came up with a way of, they called it assimilation. And technically what they meant by assimilation is like making the original people who stay here assimilate or become part of the new age or part of the new society that had come in. And they made the parents sign like a treaty where the parents would give away their children to be taken to school. So everybody thought that this was supposed to be something very good, and they called them the Indian residential schools. So how it was meant to be was, give away your child, they go to boarding schools, and they will be taken through a process of learning. They are to learn English and to learn new skills that would help them, assimilate with the society, because they considered that society to be very archaic, to be very backward, if I may say so. So that was back in the 1850s. And believe it or not, these schools existed all the way. The last school was closed, I think, was it 1992 or 1960? I think it's 1960 or something. No. Might be 1960 or 1992. I'm not 100% sure. But for them to allow those schools to remain to that long, that was something abysmal. And what happened in those schools was not just the learning. First of all, I've watched a documentary about two people. I believe one of them is called Lynn Hart, and also Glenn. I think you'll find this video online. You find it on YouTube. And what technically happened there was, one, they were banned from speaking their traditional language. They were only supposed to speak either in English or in French. Do you know what happened when you are caught speaking vernacular? They will ask you to, like that, hold your tongue out for like 30 minutes. And if you take it back in, then another 30 minutes is added on. In some other schools, they say that you are told to hold your tongue, and then they would stick a needle through it. And you're talking about kids, children. I'm a father of 4, and I know what it means when somebody tells me that they put my children through such a thing. You can imagine how I would react to it. And some of them stayed in those schools for so long, since they were young kids until when they were teenagers. And what was even worse was the atrocities that they went through in those schools. Somebody said in the school that they were, virtually all the children were either sexually or physically abused. You can imagine. And all this, believe it or not, it was being done by nuns and priests. I'm a born-again Christian. And what hurts me most, why I'm even doing this video, is to think about what the Aboriginal people today think about Christianity. Because if somebody was to do that to me, I would never, ever support anything that came out of their mouth, because that was hard. And the kids went through this, so you cannot speak your language. The other thing is that they made them do away with their cultures in terms of even the dressing. You can imagine you send your child out to go for high school or for a primary school, and then the first thing they do is shave them, take away their dignity. Any clothing that they had come in was thrown away. They like, because they did not want these children to come with pets from home, they gave them some treatment that was so ruthless. And to think that a person has come to your land to do this to you, that is on another level of absurdity. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I know a lot has been said by these people, but very few outside there know about what happened here. And as a country, we went through colonialism, and our people are beaten up and mistreated. But I don't think that our people ever went through this. I know struggle for independence has happened in virtually all the countries in the world. But to see what happened even at the West, that we think that this only happened in Africa or in Asia, and then to come and learn that there was even worse that happened. Like people can go, like children can go through whatever they went through. It's not even a laughing matter. And to push forward, what happened was these children, after they were released, because some of them, you are being taught to assimilate with the society, and they take away your language, they take away your culture. And when they were released, so you are like, you cannot go back to the culture that you have grown up in because it's no longer part of you. It has been taken out of you. Some of these children felt like even speaking in vernacular was something that is so bad. And they were forced to believe in a God that they did not know, the God that I profess about today. And the same people who are teaching them about this God are the same people who are sexually harassing them. Imagine a 5-year-old boy being sodomized by a priest. I almost cried watching that. And I have a number of things that I want to say right now. I'm a Christian and I preach the gospel to people, and I preach the gospel about accommodating people of any race, people of any sexuality, whether they are homosexual, whether they are coming from a place whether you feel like they don't believe in a God. I am a Christian who believe that these people are God's people, people who are created by God for a reason. And for these people to go through this in the hands of a Christian is just unacceptable. And I don't know whether any Aboriginal people will watch this, but I would want to tell them that those people are not preaching the same God that I believe in. Those people are not Christians to me. Those people are beasts. Some of them, I don't know whether they were punished for it. I don't know whether those priests were punished for it, but I know God dealt with them the way they are supposed to. And for me is to say sorry. I know the government, I think in 2008 is when the government came out and said sorry to the Aboriginal people. I don't know whether the church came to say sorry. I don't know whether I qualify to stand at that position of the church. But whether I qualify or not, I'm just here to say sorry as a church, and towards the Aboriginal people, towards the original people that settled in Canada and even in the US, and even taking it even forward to Africans who went through such atrocities in the hands of the missionaries who came to bring the gospel to our people. I am sorry as a church. There's nothing that can be said to take back what happened to you, because people were robbed of their dignity, people were robbed of their cultures. And believe it or not, when they came out, they had nowhere to go to. They cannot go to their own people because they do not fit in there. And the same people who are taking them through this could not even accept them in their own society. Some of them went into drug abuse. You can imagine a young man of 21. I think Glenn left when he was around 19 or 21, I don't know. but they were not able to assimilate with their own people or assimilate with the whites. And some of them went through drug abuse. Others even killed themselves because they could not take it anymore. You can imagine a girl who had been raped for years and years and they had nobody to tell. They had no counselor to go and sit down with and make peace with what happened to them. So for all those who lost their lives, for all those who lost their loved ones, for the parents who lost their kids, I want to say that I am sorry. There's nothing that can be done for us to take that back. But for us to speak about it and tell the world that this happened, I think that's part of healing. And I don't know whether some of them will ever heal. But take it from me, that is not the same God that I preach. The God that I preach about cannot be the same God that these people were teaching you about. I know some of you have never even gone back to church after that. Like when Hart was giving her, that is Lynn Hart, when she was giving her version, she said when she was leaving, she left that Bible there in the bed where she was sleeping because she could not take this same God that was being preached to her, the same God that allowed people to do that to her. So I'll not belabor the point, but mine is to say sorry. And I know the government is doing something to make up for what happened. Because whether we agree with it, the government has to shoulder the burden. And I know they are trying to, I know there was a commission that was formed, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission for Canada. And I know there were 94 recommendations that were passed. I don't know which number we were, but when I read last, I think they were on number 13 or 14. So I believe a lot can be done, and the government should continue on. Now I know we even do the land acknowledgement every day, just to acknowledge that we are seated on a land of the Aboriginal people. And I know that the government has been doing a lot, but I believe that a lot can be done. I hope everybody who watches this really takes time to go and learn about this and learn, because this happened. We cannot hide that it did not happen. And as a person that fights for the rights of the marginalized people, and also as an anthropologist, I would not do service to myself if I never spoke out. I know I'm a black man who when this happened, I don't know whether they even had a black man here back then. But that does not abscond me from the duty of making a difference. So that is it. That's my take about the Aboriginal people and about what they went through and about what we can do about it. Speak up. When you see something happening and it is not right, you speak up. That is your role as a human being. So God bless you all. I hope people can make peace with themselves, and I hope the Aboriginal people can give us a chance to spread this gospel to them now. And hopefully, if you are watching this and you are there thinking about taking your child to a boarding school, maybe you need to think twice about it, because not every time they go there to get an education. Some of them go there and they lose it all. They lose the little. I know sometimes we take our children to boarding school because you think that you don't have enough time to take care of them. That's the only place they can get to go and get a good education without the distractions of the world. But imagine your child going through molestation, not maybe even from the teachers, but through other students. That can happen in a boarding school. And I'll extend this further, even to the people who are taking their children to Catholic schools. You guys have heard what happens with priests and altar boys. And I will not mince my words. Just watch out. Because your kid might not be getting the gospel that you think they are getting. Your kids might be being molested and being sodomized out there. Can we take care of our children? And when you feel something is not right, then as a parent, just know that it is not right. You should not ignore that gut feeling. I hope this video saves a child out there. I hope this video helps a parent who is going through issues with their kids. Like you feel like your child is not normal. Like there's something bad is happening to them. Speak to them, and if you can't, get somebody that can speak to them so that they can open up when it is not too late. God bless you. This is Sam. I'm an anthropologist. I love this. I feel this is part of my calling. Take care, man. Bye-bye.